torrents or something like that. I saw Bitcoins the first time I met Bitcoin. What is that, right? But my country was under
Dubai accepting and adopting cryptocurrency.
Okay, well, at the moment we have a lot of developers, especially new developers. Next neighbor country can buy products from me. Why should I not sell to him?
Correct,
right?
correct.
A lot of like private sales, yes, are done in crypto. People moving money on crypto.
Using cryptocurrency as a form of OTC transfers to back to family as such.
Yes.
Support. What's your opinion on gaming / gambling coming to the UAE?
Well, I think that if Russell Hyman is taking this decision, which risks are you willing to take? So real estate, crypto, every investment has a little gamble.
Hello and welcome back to another season here at BetTalks. I'm Rick Goz and I'm joined by another guest. He is a political scientist, advisor, crypto investor and real estate specialist. Let's welcome to the show Alberto Bucheli. How are you doing, Alberto?
Thank you so much.
Good.
I'm great.
Welcome to BetTalks. It's good to have you here. Obviously, here at BetTalks, we cover everything from gaming, iGaming, sports betting, crypto, AI, everything emerging tech. We're not an affiliate. We're not promoting brands. We're here to get insight information, advice, also opinions. We always look for good opinions on this show to cover all different topics in each individual sector. Now, I know your journey's been quite interesting.
Indeed.
Varying from Venezuela, living in Russia, now being in the UAE. I mean, how did it all start? Tell me more.
Well, first, thank you for welcoming here, inviting me. Yeah, sure. My life has been constant change. I think like the JFK say once, the only thing that you have sure for life is change. The constant of life is changing. So, well, first I was born, raised in Venezuela. It was a quite average country. Economy was quite good enough. So I never thought that I was going to leave my country by any means. But political situation changed a lot. So we had a new government, new ideas, and bad management. So in one time, being a political advisor, I knew it was the right time for me to leave. And I foresee what was going to happen because year before, I left. The next year, the completely crisis started, and it was horrible. So to this point, many million of Venezuelans have left because of the crisis.
You're saying over 8 million people have left Venezuela?
That's correct.
Currently,
so
yes.
One of the most incredible crises, humanitarian crisis in the world right now.
Yeah.
Then I get to Russia, also by luck. I mean, I went for studying reasons for the master's degree, and I decided to stay there. I really like it. Besides, there was not an option to coming back to my country. So, well, I took a turn to my life. I left politics because in a different country, you're not like allowed to work in politics as the way I did. And again, politics touched me on the face, like war started there and I needed to take a different path. And the UAE was one of the first options I had. And I'm happy that I took this path because I think I found this place amazing. I really like it. And I'm happy to be living here.
Yeah, in such a safe country like the UAE and Dubai.
Sure.
Such a big change in obviously what your background's been. I mean, war and politics have sort of governed your life.
Completely, yes.
Yeah.
But what I think I learned from this is that sometimes when you're in your own country, you don't think about the neighbor. Right, so everybody is like, oh, you're from Colombia, you're from Mexico, you're not. That's not your own, right? That's not your kind. But when you left your country, you understand that like everybody's almost the same. Like good people are good people, no matter the nationality. We are just divided for geographical accidents. So
I like that.
You were born in some place, and well, that's what you have some belief, maybe a religion on you. But at the end of the day, the relationship among us is unique, you know. Yeah. People will find good people if you are good people.
Of course, I like that. I'd like to touch more on sort of Venezuela and the sort of politics around it, because I know that is your background. I know you did over 7 years in Russia, which obviously is a huge part of your life. Now, tell me more on Venezuela. I mean, sort of 2 weeks ago, they just had another general election. Obviously, the country's in major crisis. So many millions of people have left over the years. How do you see the future taking shape within Venezuela in South America?
Well, that's very important. What happened 3 weeks ago, we had a presidential election, and the president, the ruler, said that he won the election, and the opposition said that they won. So there's a lot of controversy. They're still checking the facts, but the government is not going to accept anything but their win. So the problem is, again, neighbors. Why? Because if this president stays, there will be a new wave of migration. So 8 million, they flew from Venezuela. We can expect another couple of millions. And these people, where are going to? To their neighbors. So Colombia, Peru, Brazil. So they're going to be affected because the social system cannot kept so many migrants. So if the situation is not decided in a pacific way to finish this confrontation, it will affect the whole continent. And even maybe not so close of countries, but the US, Spain, they receive a lot of Venezuelan migrants. Mm-hmm. So again, if your neighbor is in trouble, sometimes you need to give a hand before the trouble comes to you.
Of course. So looking at Venezuela alone, I mean, obviously I know you've not been there for several years now, but obviously you was in the politics side of things. Venezuela has always had a sort of a background of oil supply,
sure,
correct? Which has obviously created a lot of big crisis, and it's created a lot of corruption. Do you see that changing anytime soon?
Well, that's part of the problem. The dependency on oil was from the beginning of our industrialization moments. So all the industry, all our gross market is only oil. So what happened with this? So we are dependent. In the beginning of 2000s, where the oil prices were so high, our country was blooming. And you should try to get this money to invest in other industry, to try to diversify them. And the government lost control of the situation, was giving money to missions, foundations, and everything, but not receiving real work or real value from that.
Yeah.
So they started with a currency control, because people started to spend that money on other markets, right? Buying an Amazon something and not investing in your country. The currency start to lose value, and then the government start to take nationalization of industries that they were not on their eye, and inefficiency. Then it came to we're talking about inflation or hyperinflation. So it's a recipe, unbelievable, of mismanagement that lead to this situation. So of course we had oil, but if the prices are low, the country is going to suffer. That means it's not a good management and planification. The country, you can diversify your industry to not depend on the oil. Or you can depend on oil, right, for a certain amount, and try to invest the rest, not immediately, because it will destroy your economy.
Sure.
In create new structures for investors, for creating, maybe for real estate. So there are so many ways that the government can diversify the income receiving from oil. But unfortunately, corruption and mismanagement is leading to this.
And it's led to a loss of 8 million people from the country.
Also, brains coming out of the country. So because who can leave? The first migration wave was people with means, right? Investors with properties. The second wave was people with studies, master's degrees, engineers.
So people with wealth and people obviously looking for education.
Sure.
They move the country, it takes the
you don't have the opportunities.
Grow.
They left.
Yeah.
So what is left in the country? So the population left in the country is under a control of a government that is trying to manage all the structures all your life under surveillance of government.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated, and I don't see if something happens, change the government, it will need, of course, not a couple of years. It needs a decade to rebuild the nation we had.
So obviously, I mean, home. I always have a saying that home will always be home, and I'm sure you agree.
Of course.
Where do you see Venezuela in the next decade?
Well, I hope we're going to rebuild our nation, our country, and to get back with our natural allies, because that's also very important, because it's not because we're a friend of this country or not. It's in politics, it's rationality also, right?
Yeah.
If my next neighbor country can buy products from me, why should I not sell to him, right?
Correct.
No, let's choose this. I had an ally 8 miles from us. Okay, you can have another, but you cannot lose the ones you have closer, because in a case of an emergency, or if it's difficult to send, for example, oil, right? It's cheaper to send oil to the US than send oil to China from my country, right? Mm-hmm. So it is logistical. It's a waste of resources.
Yeah, of course.
So you should try to keep your allies, not your friends, because in political, this is a misunderstanding of friends or enemies. No, they're allies and not allies.
Yeah, of course. So, very interesting story, by the way. Obviously, I'm learning a lot from this. Now, was there, just a quick thought process, was there a relocation package for leaving Venezuela? Because I know obviously you moved to Russia from this, or did you had to leave off your own back?
No, often just people start. Once the first election in 2000, a lot of people left. Yeah. Then in 2006, other people left. Then in 2012, this crisis started, so people also started looking for their new path, because Venezuela first is a very multicultural country. I mean, after the World War II, a lot of Europeans moved to Venezuela because it was prosperous. Yeah. We had a good economy. So people living in Europe, in Italy, in Spain, in Portugal, after war, they found a home in Venezuela. So most of us, we have our grandparents or parents being Europeans. Yeah. So they have this possibility to get this nationality, and that was like the first kind of Venezuelans that left, the second generation only Venezuelans. Yeah. Because it's a very mixed country, so we don't have like long generation of Venezuelans, because anyway we were Spanish colony.
Spanish colony, yeah, of course. Wow, interesting. I mean, obviously there's huge crisis out there, and hopefully things will obviously mature, but generally throughout the world, where oil is, you will generally find that there will be crises throughout the world, or politics that will obviously come into play. But then life took you to Russia. I mean, such a big change in culture, eh?
Yes.
Coming from this Latino, South American figure to a Russian Soviet Union sort of approach. Like, wow.
That was also funny in the way I was trying to make a PhD in the US. And I was trying to apply for a PhD in Indiana, I remember, the university. And I got my paperwork, everything on time. But from my university, I needed my paper from that, my grades and everything, and it didn't manage to get it on time, so I couldn't apply for the PhD. So I had everything with me, and now, I need to look for chances for studying a PhD or a master's degree overseas. And it come to me opportunity, because at that time, Russia and Venezuela, they have some agreements, so cultural and educational agreements. They were given scholarships for master's degrees. So, I said, I have the documents. I have two options. It could go to Argentina, or it can go to Russia. And say Argentina, it's okay, but Russia gave me the opportunity to learn Russian.
Of course.
Because you had 1 year just for Russian language, and then you study your master's degree. And I said, 3 years, so I can choose my path after that. So I said, well, let's try Russia. And I applied, I did all the tests, exams and everything, and I was chosen.
Brilliant, brilliant. Such a cultural change, and obviously, how do you see that obviously has changed you as a person, obviously, going from sort of South America to settling in Russia for 7 years. And now you're in Dubai. Now, obviously, there's a big influx of Russians that obviously have come, and Ukrainians that have come since, obviously, the war started.
Of course.
Which is what made you yourself move to the UAE. How are you finding that transition so far?
Here in Dubai?
Here in Dubai.
Well, I really like Dubai in the way that you don't feel like a foreigner. Like in Russia, I was okay. I think I adapt myself very quickly to mentality. Well, kind of, right? But here, like everybody is different.
80% expats.
Yes. So here you have the opportunity to meet people from countries that you would never think about them.
Yeah.
So you don't feel that like you're a foreigner, you're an alien, right?
Of course.
Even in Russia, I didn't have problems, for example, with racism or nothing. I was always were welcome everywhere.
Yeah.
But here, it's not even a question, you know. There, it's always like, oh, who are you? People are nice with you because they don't meet so many foreigners.
Correct.
But here, you skip that. You are here, and everybody's the same. So it's different, the situation. So I really like. I think it's easy for me to adapt here. I feel like. Yes, like home. I also feel I have this fear also, like going to Arab country. Maybe it will be a cultural shock, but no, I feel the same as here as I felt in Moscow, as I could have felt in London. So for me, I don't see like cultural shock.
Very, very metropolitan countries,
yes.
Especially Dubai. You're out to Emirates, obviously, are a lot different, but Dubai, very, very extremely metropolitan, 80% expats. So it's everyone from all different walks of life, which is obviously why I love the place so much, one of the reasons why I love the place so much. So obviously you've been now here in Dubai for the last 2 years. You've moved into the real estate market.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding it?
Well, also the real estate was a risk, but I think it was worthy. When I was in Russia and the war started, I started to think, where should I go? This is the time for moving. This is like a life-changing moment. Like, so what you need to do? So what am I capable to do? And UAE was an option, and I was thinking, okay, so yes, UAE. So what can I do there? Right? There are a lot of stuff, but I need to begin with something, right?
Of course.
And because of the war, also real estate market was blooming, and especially with Russian and Ukrainian clients. So I say, well, I can speak Russian, I can speak English, Spanish. So
you're covering a lot of the world there.
So yeah. So if I go there, I can do this. So I was preparing myself before coming, and then at the moment I arrived here, I applied to some companies, and gratefully I was taken from the second week I was here, and they got me good training also, and I started working in real estate. Unfortunately, I got to say, I had so many Russian clients as I thought.
Okay.
I had more British clients
or
Mexican Americans, but not Russian. But okay, it was in my mind, my ideas. It was still a good decision, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, obviously, I mean, Dubai, especially the real estate market, is rapidly expanding and rapidly growing. Dubai is expanding out now. Obviously, the likes of Amar South coming up, and further, obviously pushing out and out. So the market is endless. Obviously, we all meet people from real estate that have real estate backgrounds. Everyone knows someone that has real estate backgrounds within the UAE. It's such a fantastic, exciting industry to be in, and especially multicultural language speaking as well. And obviously that helps you out massively. So how do you see, obviously, this emerging tech, real estate, booming city of Dubai? Where do you see Dubai in the next 10 years?
Well, you know, you have seen the plan 2030, so the expectation is Dubai to grow at least 50% of what it is now. In 2025, 2026, in some areas like JBC, for example, there are going to be 50,000 units available, brand new. So that means that's the expectation also of people migrating here, relocating here is massive. So the government is doing everything possible to bring these people. The developers also are giving a good offer.
Yeah.
And right now, for example, other Emirates are trying also to compete with Dubai. Right?
Sure.
Because the successful example given by Dubai, you also want to be taken, for example, Ras Al Khaimah, I don't know, Sharjah, but Abu Dhabi also bringing great events to the capital, so bring more tourism.
Yeah.
So if in the real estate market, I can foresee, well, of course, amazing new developments. So there are some developments that, for me, if working there, you want to see, well, I want to see this when it's finished. Even now, you can see great projects, but everything is always breaking the edge, breakthrough. So this new developer will have, I don't know, the most deep pool in the world. So you want to see how it's going to
They're
fit.
always doing things bigger and better than everywhere. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, yesterday I was in a developer, and they are building the highest residential tower, 525 meters.
Wow.
And next to that, there's the third, 580 meters, something like that. So, and I was in shock. I want to see how they will look, those two towers together, 120 floors close to each other. So it's exciting what it's going to, but also it needs to be part of a plan, because if you had a lot of supply, you don't have a lot of people coming,
demand, of course.
The prices can crash and go down, but everything I think is try to be set, try to be worked on.
I mean, the plan, as they're saying, from 2030, there's going to be looking at a population of 5 million people in Dubai South. I mean, that's incredible. But like you say, there's a lot of supply, but there needs to be demand that's going to match that. So it's exciting times, and it's obviously great time to be alive, especially in Dubai with what's happening.
Exactly.
Here at BetTalks, we meet a lot of people that has tech backgrounds, so varying from gaming, crypto, AI, trading. So people with tech background. Now, Dubai has become this innovation tech hub, which obviously is feeding the real estate market.
Yes.
Because more companies coming in, more companies incorporating, which brings more traffic, obviously, to the real estate. Are you picking up many clients from this background?
Yes, I think that we need. There's still like a lot of people not welcoming these changes. You know, not long ago there was like an EI. I think the real estate agent will disappear in a few years. I'm sure about that, because technology can do that for you. I mean,
Correct.
for a plan, for example, for looking for the perfect location, you can need the human touch, yes, but that's something that can be done for AI. We can use technology for all what we need, but there will be a moment that I don't know. It's difficult to say about real estate because, for example, it's what I do, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure that our profession is not going to be so.
You're thinking it's going to be around for a long, no?
Yes, because we have a lot of technology that can substitute us.
Correct.
Now, apps, you can hire a service and you can have the availability from Dubai.
Let's look at the role of a real estate agent, not just in Dubai, but globally. You're basically a service provider.
Yes.
You're a service provider, that's what you are. So that can be, like I say, adjusted to an application that can eliminate that service. So I completely agree with you. I think that there's not much of a long lifespan for a real estate broker as such. There is technology that will take over that. But talking of technology, I know you're an investor within the cryptocurrency market. How do you see the future of Dubai accepting and adopting cryptocurrency?
Okay, well, at the moment we have a lot of developers, especially new developers, taking crypto payments for down payment, for booking units. for the payment plan. So we have this already.
And are they accepting many tokens, or is it stable tokens only? Or?
Usually stable tokens.
Correct.
I think that it will be higher the possibility in the future, but for now, for example, if somebody's taking USD dollars, yes, that's a real improvement,
Yep.
and there are a lot of developers doing it. So I think that the next step should be in the DLD department, the Wildland department, for example, for secondary sales.
Sure.
Secondary sales, we still have the manager check condition. So you need to go with a manager check to the DLD department, to the trustee office to pay like that. Of course, you can make a crypto transaction to the company you're working with, the realtor, and then they cash a manager check for you on behalf of your name.
Yeah.
That can be done. But still, it will be more comfortable, easier for some clients, for example, to buy on the spot.
Sure.
Not bring it, because now I still don't like too much the idea of checks. In Dubai, we have to still this mentality of checks. Even if people that are renting,
Correct.
they need to give checks.
Checks. It's a very old school mentality where but I agree with you on this, where Dubai is adopting into this tech hub, and the real estate market's still using 4 checks, 6 checks, and it's
not long ago I sold a unit, and the developer wants 60 checks for each installment to be paid. And so my client needed to write 60 checks on the spot.
Some people don't even have 60 checks in their checkbook.
Yes. So what happened? You have a new account, they give you 10 or maybe double, 20. You don't get 60
checks.
So, but the developer was like, come on, really?
Yeah.
It was a struggle, but we managed to do it through a transfer.
Yeah. I think what is amazing that Dubai is accepting cryptocurrency for booking units, whether it's off plan or even buying villas, apartments within the secondary market. Could you imagine yourself using cryptocurrency as a form of payment while you was living in Russia?
Well, in Russia, yes.
Yeah.
I could imagine because of sanctions. Also, my country, Venezuela, is under sanctions. So people need to be creative.
Correct.
How to transfer money to Russia, how to transfer money to Venezuela, you need to find ways. So in that case, all these exchangers, they came to the market, they held good rates. So yes, it was, you could see it, you can smell it on the air that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
In Russia, a lot of like private sales, yes, are done in crypto. People moving money on crypto. Yes, it's very, very popular.
How long have you been involved in crypto?
Well, I would like to say in 2009, when I remember extra torrents or something like that, I saw Bitcoins. The first time I met Bitcoin, what is that, right? But my country was under current control policy. So we couldn't access to dollars, so I couldn't buy anything. So
you knew about crypto back in 2009?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it was peanuts. It was nothing, right? But I saw the sites, for example, something is not good, but downloading movies at that time, and that wasn't okay in my country.
Yeah.
But you didn't have access to dollars. Or when you have it, you say, I'm going to spend it in Amazon or eBay or something like that, not on crypto. So only I have the approach to that in Russia. In Russia, because first I got, how can I send money to my country? We were blocked. Venezuela was blocked. So the only way to do it was to change money through cryptocurrencies.
So you were sending money
Yes.
via cryptocurrency to Venezuela?
Yes. Actually, to the U.S.
Yeah.
The U.S., they make the change in Venezuelan currency, and that's how I could send the money.
That's how you could send money.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that was my first approach, like maybe 2018.
Okay, so you've been using cryptocurrency as a form of OTC transfers back to family as such,
Yes.
Support. Okay, fantastic. So you've been around the industry for a while. obviously using it as a form of transfers to sanctioned countries, etc. Now, where do you see the market going with the likes of NFTs, these meme tokens? Where do you see the market adapting to?
Well, first, I think that we need a law frame to be done, for example, in Dubai or in the UAE, because to make this transition to use crypto, we need to be clear about how the funds are going, to know well about the blockchain, if it's legal, because sometimes it opens the door for people that are bringing money for not the right reasons.
Correct.
So if we manage to have a good legislation about it, I think that especially the UAE can be a vanguard on taking at least for safe, not safe, but stable coins. I think that it's going to be real soon.
Well, I mean, let's look at the market alone. Okay, I know you've been around the space for a while, and obviously you've used crypto as a form of transfer from countries to countries. The market is still an unregulated market.
Yes.
Okay. So without regulations in place, it cannot be governed to send, for instance, transactions to sanctioned countries.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that once regulations, or if regulations come in, that would stop the likes of the use of crypto, how you used it to help support your family back in Venezuela?
Yeah, but I mean, it shouldn't be connect with political reasons.
Mm.
So we should have legislation. What, for example, where are the monies coming from? Yes, but not because some countries decided to block one country.
Correct.
To exclude that from a market, because that's not for the free market. It's, for example, what happened, I don't know, during the war, McDonald's, to say something, they lost 8% of the market just leaving Russia and Ukraine.
And that was only one brand. There were several brands.
Yes. So who is losing there?
Mm.
Everybody.
Of course.
So if you take this decision based on politics, it will affect everybody. You need to take this decision according to the real market necessities. Because if you're taking decisions because, okay, who is going to decide? Who watch the watchers, right? So
yeah.
Now, who's good, who's bad, who's a good? It's only a valoration you're doing.
Agreed. Okay, so obviously mixed sort of feedback there on the cryptocurrency market. It's been used for transactions, but moving forward, there is still obviously a very grey area, obviously that's in place. But listen, it's being used as a form of payment method within Dubai for houses, apartments, villas, cars, within the motor industry as well. So Dubai are accepting it as a form of payment more than anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's touch base on another thing. Here at BetTalks, we do cover gaming/gambling. We talk about regulations soon to come with the new Wynn casino in Ras Al Khaimah. Come 2027, there's a lot of talk about this. What's your opinion on gaming/gambling coming to the UAE?
Well, I think that if Ras Al Khaimah is taking this decision, it's because they see the potential on it. And I think once we have this casino in Ras Al Khaimah, Dubai is going to take the next step to compete back the tourists. I don't see anything wrong about gambling. I think that of course, we have to be responsible what we're doing, right? Also, casinos, they also need a regulation. What we have, for example, why Las Vegas is a good example, because after so many problems, they came with a casino regulation, and they still, how many years we have? Almost 80 years, I don't know, is running all casinos in Las Vegas. And if we have a good regulation, I think that we can manage to combine this conservative culture that still we're facing here, but we are also in one of the places that is so metropolitan, so multicultural that why not?
In Dubai, it's very metropolitan.
Yes.
In the outer Emirates, it's still very, very local. It's still very Muslim. It still runs under, obviously, the whole country still runs under Islamic laws. So how do you see locals adapting to gaming within the UAE?
Well, again, for example, we're talking about Ras Al Khaimah. Also, we cannot say it's a metropolitan place, but it aspired to be a new hub.
Correct.
So I don't see that coming in Sharjah or something like that, but Dubai, yes, Abu Dhabi, yes. I think that people are open to I want to say it's a culture because it's not a culture, but welcome to this. Well, I'm like the wrong person to ask because for me, I see like gambling casinos like something normal, right? For me, it's like common sense. Okay, if you want to go to those places, you go. If you don't like it, please don't play.
Of course,
that's my politics. So why can you be against something if you don't know it? If you're telling me no, because it's money laundering there, I understand. Okay, you have the reason. Okay, but for other reasons than that, I think there's nothing to reject.
Sure.
And casinos are part of the tourism industry also. And where else that like the mecca of tourism that Dubai or the UAE to bring this new feature to the supply.
Yep.
I think that is the right choice, but of course we have to be careful with the regulation because we don't want to bring capitals that are not clean, and we don't want to make this just a face for money laundering or something. But I'm sure that this is not what is meant, and it's not what is going to happen here.
In my opinion, I believe that the UAE are creating this industry, which is a global industry, where it brings a lot more revenue to the country, a lot more entertainment. The UAE is lacking, was obviously very frowned upon. Alcohol became more regulated. Zero gambling, obviously that's coming into play. So it opens up as a mecca hub, as a mecca hub, such as the likes of Macau and Las Vegas, like you've just been talking about. But one question I do like to ask, is crypto gambling?
Kinda, yes. But I don't know, it's like buying real estate is gambling sometimes. Is going to be successful, those projects in Ras Al Khaimah close to the casino? We think so. So we invest. Maybe they fail. It's very few possibilities that exist. Like something can happen on the world and it's not going to be successful. Right. But everything is about taking risk. You know which risks are you willing to take. So real estate, crypto, every investment has a little gambling. At least in my opinion.
I agree on that. Every investment there is some form of gambling in it. And I think when you look at sort of unregulated markets, the risk is a lot higher than stable, of course. So obviously you're new to Dubai. How's things going for you so far? Are you getting set? I mean, you've been here for what now? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years, yeah. You get you just arrived just on the back end of COVID, I believe, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And so transitioned into the UAE. You see now the UAE as a future home, future base for you?
I think so. It's possible. Of course, if you see Dubai, for example, there are not that elder people here. So it's a very...
I always say that.
Vibrant and young.
Yeah, it's a young, entrepreneurial sort of ambience that you get. And obviously very like we spoke about, very metropolitan, young entrepreneurs, very like-minded people. You don't see elderly people.
Yeah, I don't see my mom coming to live here with me or something, because I don't see how she's going to fit. And so in my case, okay, yes, I see myself, but who knows, maybe I will prefer another place to us, because it's a vibrant place. So you are here, you need to hustle, you need to be on the spot, you need to be active. So here, yes, I feel good, great now, and maybe the Dubai of the future will be a more welcoming home for seniors. And yes, I would like to stay here, of course.
Correct. Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you for having you on the show. It's been very interesting, especially the Venezuela, obviously, politics talks that we've discussed. One more question I just wanted to ask you. Now, judging on the real estate market, any advice, any tips for our viewers out there on what you believe is a great, I want to say investment, but great locations within Dubai to either purchase or get involved?
Sure. Now we have 2 hot spots. Everything close to Ras Al Khaimah, to the casino. I'm sure it's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
Also, we talked just back before about Dubai South. The airport is going to move to Al Maktoum Airport. So the relocation, everybody involved in this industry needs to be around there, because now everybody is there in Al Jadaf.
Correct.
Those places. So is by sure a good investment, even, for example, if we're talking about even for leasehold. There are properties in Dubai, some regions that are leasehold, they're not for you, like it's only for 100 years. Yeah, but if you take a property in that price right now, in the future it will be freehold, and you had an advantage, you had leverage there.
Yeah,
you're making double your investment.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. I completely agree with you. I'm definitely a Mar South. Definitely, obviously Ras Al Khaimah. Very, very exciting times. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
It's been great having you here. You've had a very interesting journey, and I hope it's obviously very prosperous moving forward. And enjoy the rest of your time here in the UAE, and good luck for the future.
Thank you so much.
For coming on BetTalks. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.